pension fund, and deleting and substituting the definition of the word approved fund to provide for a more clear definition. Clause 3 amends section 37 by deleting it and mandating a deduction to be allowed in ascertaining the gains or profits of an employer for a charge year on any amount paid in that charge year by way of contribution to an approved fund. Clause 4 is the repeal, provides for the repeal and replacement of section 43E of the Principal Act. Clause 5 provides for an amendment to section 45B of the Principal Act, which extends the requirements of a taxpayer identification number to apply to professional bodies such as NAPSA, NIMA, and mobile money operators, among others. Clause 6 provides for the amendment of section 46A of the Principal Act, which provides for the discretion of the Commissioner General to remit a whole or part of a penalty under section 46, where the Commissioner General reasonably believes that the income is understated on that tax or return that is underpaid by at least 1/3. Clause 7 provides for the repeal and replacement of section 81B of the Principal Act. Clause 8 provides for the amendment of section 81C. Clause 9 provides for the amendment of section 82A, and clause 10 provides for the amendment of section 84 of the Principal Act, which is an amendment by the insertion of new subsections which require a personal partnership declared to be an agent and who withholds tax to remit the tax not later than 2 days before the due date specified for the respective category of tax. It also provides for a penalty of 1% of the amount in respect of each month or part of the month for which the contravention continues. Clause 11 provides for the amendment of the second schedule, the Principal Act, and clause 12 provides for the amendment of the 9th schedule of the Principal Act. I'll just go through clause 13 and then we'll be done. So clause 13 provides for the amendment of the charging schedule. This clause seeks to amend the charging schedule of the Principal Act by the deletion and substitution of items C, F, and L in paragraph 5, which seek to increase the corporate income tax rate for export of non-traditional products and value addition to copper cathodes, and provide clarification on the maximum rate of tax charge on income received by a special purpose vehicle. The clause further deletes and substitutes paragraph 6, clause 2, which provides clarity on the tax required to be paid under section 81C, and further provides clarification on paragraph 7, clause 8, on the tax required to be deducted from the payment on winnings from gaming, lotteries, and betting. I submit, Chair.
Thank you very much, honourable members. That's the submission for the Income Tax Amendment Bill number 22 of 2024. Any clarifications you may want to raise? Okay, I see none. Okay.
Good morning. I just want to get a clarification on clause 10, where you're saying this clause seeks to amend section 84 of the Principal Act by the insertion of a new subsection 6(7), which requires a person of partnership declared to be an agent or who withholds tax to remit the tax not later than 2 days before the due date specified for the category of tax. I'm just a bit concerned about these 2 days. Looking at our systems, do you think 2 days is enough, 48 hours, in which someone collects withholding tax? This is rental, right? Yeah. 2 days. Is it feasible?
Thank you so much, Chair. Thank you so much, Honorable Member. So the 2 days, this withholding tax is actually more than just rentals. We also have, yes, withholding tax on other income tax categories. So for these 2 days, we did actually discuss this when we were drafting this with the client, and they did indicate that 2 days was sufficient. So it should be 2 days before the due date specified for that particular tax. Then you need to remit it. And if you don't, that's where you have this offense under subsection 7. Thank you so much, Chair.
Thank you. So it's 2 days before the actual day.
It's 2 days before the actual day, not even after the management.
It's 2 days. Because after then the penalty is triggered, isn't it?
Yes. Yes, Honorable Member.
Don't you think it will just be more of punishing? I'm talking from a landlord point of view. I know what happens. Because the tenant may be able to the 21st, depending on the salary. But the 21st will be maybe only be made on maybe 25th or immediately. How do you
How in practice, but after our are sufficient, Minister of Finance and ZRA.
So what we need to do, like honorable members, because these are the bills for the ministry, isn't it? Those are very good, so we need to tap, in fact, those, take note of that, so that we, when the ministry comes and also then I think they can give us more credit.
Yes, thank you so much. I think, yes, ZRA and Minister of Finance will probably give what the practice of this. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments, questions on this one? Honorable Smushi?
Maybe just clarity on the same. Maybe a practical example would suffice to really illustrate what this means. Because when you say to remit tax not later than 2 days before the due date, so is there any example that you can give? For example, I know people are compelled to pay their return, to make their returns, I think on the 14th.
It's 14th.
Of every month. So I'm trying to understand it from that context. I don't know what it means on those lines. Maybe that will clear some of the question marks I have.
Okay. Thank you so much, Chair. I wouldn't know what the practical aspect is when it comes to this. I'm just trying to see what Section 84 relates to. So this is for the agent for payment of tax. Yes, so for that particular agent, they have that duty to remit this tax 2 days before it is due. So I remember Minister of Finance and ZRA indicated that this is to ensure that the taxpayer is not penalized when that remission is late. So this is what this was for, specifically this provision, for those purposes, to make sure that the taxpayer does not incur unnecessary penalties. So I think that's why this is a very strict provision. I submit, Chair.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I think what the drafters and their agent are trying to do here is to ensure that
when a person pays to the agent should pay before the due date. So to look at a practical example that I think Honorable Sumushi was asking, we can look at, for example, a bank, any bank. If they collect, say, the withholding tax on interest, they should pay to ZRA at least 2 days before the due date. Now, the effective payer of that withholding tax is the person who is who is earning interest. So what will happen is that that financial institution will pay to ZRA, and ZRA will issue an invoice, sorry, a receipt, and that person will be acknowledged as a person who has paid the withholding tax. So this is not really targeted at the actual taxpayer, it's for the agents. So it's some kind of regulation that is meant to ensure that the agents act within the expectations of ZRA.
Yeah, because usually there is 14 days, is it, after the month end. So if you say your payment is due on the 30th, you are given up to 14th to submit, or to remit, isn't it? So which means technically at least by the 12th that agent should have remitted, because after the 14th then the penalty is triggered. So that is just, I think, a safeguard. That's what Honorable Mukosa has said. Yeah.
Yes, Chair. And this penalty under subsection 7, the 1%, is for the agent and not the taxpayer.
Yes, Honorable.
Thank you so much. I never introduced myself. I think I came a bit late. Honorable Nyirenda from Londazi constituency. What I also want to get a clearance from is this suggested increasing the bans for presumptive taxes for motor vehicles used for carriage of persons. Are these like minibuses and buses?
Yes, Honorable Member.
Okay. Maybe I also want to get maybe a small reaction. Already we are suffering with prices of, transport being a bit unaffordable for the people. And looking at this tax, usually it's passed on to the end user in terms of transport costs. I wanted to find out, did you try to look at the balance and how it would affect the people on the ground?
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Thank you, Honorable Member. We did, but Minister of Finance and ZRA indicated that the last time that there was a hike on these taxes was in 2022. There was a 20% hike. And from then, they have not touched these bans for tax on motor vehicles for carriage of persons. So they said that because of issues of inflation, because of issues of inflation and all these other issues, the 20% that was applied then was not working for 2024, and it wouldn't work for 2025 as well. So that's why they have increased. So they did take into account all those issues, and these taxes have not been touched from 2022, Honorable Member.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do you want to react? Anyone? Yeah.
Thank you, Honorable Member. I do believe also one of the things that was indicated was that this is an annual tax, so that's one of the reasons why they justified it when drafting. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we can move to the next one.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I will take us through the Value-Added Tax Amendment Bill, number 23 of 2024.
Sure.
Thank you, Chair. So the background to this bill is that the bill seeks to amend the Value-Added Tax Act, Cap 3 31 of the laws of Zambia in order to provide conditions for exemption of a taxable supplier or category of taxable suppliers from using the electronic invoicing system, revise conditions for input tax claims or deductions, and provide for matters connected with or incidental to the foregoing. The bill, once enacted, will provide transparency on the decision of the Commissioner General to exempt a tax supplier from the use of an electronic invoicing system, will enhance compliance by limiting input tax deduction, credit or claim to possession of an electronic invoicing system, leading to the reduction in the risk of fraud on input tax claims. Further, the bill will ensure that the scope of cross-border electronic services that will be amenable to tax are clearly specified. Moving on to specific clauses of the bill. So Clause 1 of the bill provides for the short title and commencement. The clause provides for the short title and commencement of the Act once enacted. So Clause 2 provides for the amendment of Section 7A of the Act. The clause seeks to amend Section 7A of the Principal Act by the deletion of subsection 2 and the substitution, therefore, of the new subsection 2, so as to enhance tax monitoring and compliance by requiring the conditions upon which the Commissioner General can exempt a taxable supplier from using an electronic invoicing system to be prescribed. Clause 3, amendment of Section 8. The clause seeks to amend Section 8(6) of the Principal Act by the deletion of paragraph C and the substitution, therefore, of a new paragraph C, so as to ensure that the scope of cross-border electronic services that will be amenable to tax are clearly specified. Clause 4, amendment of Section 18. So the clause seeks to amend Section 18 of the Principal Act by the deletion of paragraphs A, B, and C, and the substitution, therefore, of a new paragraph C, so as to enhance compliance by limiting input tax deduction, credit or claim to possession of an electronic invoicing system or a prescribed invoice by a taxable supplier who is exempt from the use of an electronic invoicing system. The last clause is Clause 5, amendment of Section 38A. The clause seeks to amend Section 38A of the Principal Act in subsections 1 and 2 by the deletion of the words Assistant Commissioner and the substitution, therefore, of the words Assistant Director, so as to align the Act with the current structure at the Zambia Revenue Authority. So, Chair, if I may, currently our Section 7A provides for the use of an electronic invoicing system, requires a taxable supplier to use an electronic invoicing system, and also gives the Commissioner General the power to exempt this taxable supplier from using this electronic invoicing system. So what the bill seeks to achieve is that the bill seeks to subject the Commissioner General to prescribed conditions, just so that to enhance transparency in the decision of the Commissioner General to exempt the use of electronic invoicing system. And then when you look at the words Assistant Commissioner, what's obtaining in the ground is that they are called Assistant Directors. So the bill seeks to just align to what's currently happening on the ground. I submit, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Any comments on our members? Honorable Smushi?
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to find out if at all, in your discussions with the ZRI, what would amount to an exemption? In other words, why should a supplier be exempted? Under what conditions would that arise?
Okay. Thank you for that question, Honorable Member. So there are different circumstances that may arise. That's why the bill wants to leave that to prescription, to an SI, in that as and when, for example, maybe for some reason a taxable supplier does not have maybe the electronic system, the Commissioner would be able to exempt, and that would depend on the conditions that the ZRA will come up with in the statutory instrument.
Okay. Honorable Nyiranda, then Honorable Mumba.
Thank you very much. The issue of VAT has been a challenge for our country, Zambia. That is where we lose most of the money, where these big companies have been claiming a lot of money out of it. What would be wrong for us to put up a system that will be compliant for everyone? Because I cannot go to the USA, I cannot go to, maybe I go to China and start dictating what should be done. Why can't it be a one-size-fits-all? Why should we allow a situation where ZRA is the one to determine? I submit.
Thank you. Can you respond to that?
Thank you, Chair. So currently, the Act as it is currently, it allows the Commissioner to exempt. So it's still, we have this system, the electronic invoices system. However, the Commissioner currently has power to exempt, to allow this taxable supplier to use other means from the electronic invoice system. So what this amendment is doing is that is trying to curtail the powers of the Commissioner to conditions in the SI. So currently the way the law is that there are no conditions. It's in the discretion of the Commissioner. So the law is trying to ensure that these conditions will now be prescribed in the SI, in a statutory instrument, so that it will create transparency, so that we are able to see, the Commissioner will be bound by those conditions which will be set out in the law, and that's the premise upon which an exemption will be granted.
Thank you. Honorable Mumba.
Chairperson, thank you very much. My name's Anthony Mumba. I'm the Member of Parliament for Kantanshi. That's in Mufulira District on the Copper Belt. Honorable Chairperson, my concern is that as we're looking at taxation, year in, year out, we seem to be taxing the same people, and we're taxing them even more. Just year in, year out. We seem not to be thinking, maybe outside the box might not be the right term, but we seem to be not versatile in our taxation. What do I mean? We all know that we're an import-led economy. Whether we're trying to strengthen manufacturing as a means of ways of growing our economy, whether it's mining, all those products that come into the country come through importation. But where I have a problem is, if a company is sitting in Australia and it is supplying equipment to KCM, that supplier pays not one single tax at all. And there have been arguments from you technocrats which don't seem to add up. You will say no, but they'll pay duty. But when a product is consigned to KCM, when it arrives, because it simply means that all the preconditions have been met in terms of the quality and so on and so forth. So when the product comes, okay, it's consigned to KCM. What KCM would do is, and obviously invoices are sent directly. So what KCM would do is it will pay that $1 million directly, maybe from their foreign bank abroad or from a local bank. And no single tax will be paid. One can argue to say duty was paid and so on. But a Zambian, everything he supplies, he pays the tax. There's even one which they're introducing, 15%. If you don't have a tax clearance certificate, you are trying to buy something in South Africa or the UK, 15% will be charged on you. So, my question to you is, why you technocrats are you not thinking about, looking beyond the current taxes we are collecting by being a bit more innovative so that the Zambians can pay lesser taxes? Why are you not doing that? Because I've heard what you're explaining there. And that's why, Chair, I've decided to bring this so that I hear what your thoughts will be. Because it's unfair. We're an import-led economy. And everything that comes to support our economy comes from abroad. And unfortunately, millions and millions of dollars, no one pays taxes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Are you able to comment?
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I just wanted to just take note of that very, very important submission by the Honorable Member, Chair, and it's something that we'll bring to the attention of the Line Ministry. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Murebwa.
Thank you, Honorable Chair, and good morning. My name is Jeff Murebwa, MP for Kaflafuta. It's not a question as such, but are we going to have a feedback over what Honorable Mumba has said? Because a lot of things go under the bridge by saying, oh, we've taken note of that and it dies a natural death. What are you going to do to commit to this committee? Thank you.
So the Minister of Justice is our permanent witness in the whole of this process. They will be with us throughout our discussions, and we are taking note of these submissions so that when the relevant ministry comes to that, then he, as a permanent witness with us, definitely will tag along with that. So it's something which is not closed for now.
If you may allow me, Chair. Thank you, Honorable Member, for your concerns. I know we've closed the Income Tax Act, but if you may allow me, Chair. So if you look at the amendment to the Income Tax Act, you will see that the authority and the ministry have not touched issues to do with payee, and I think the only bands of tax that they have raised are those ones relating to the buses that the Honorable Member raised. So you can see that the authority and the ministry are also thinking of the concerns that the Honorable Member has raised. But we're thankful for that concern, and we will definitely look into it. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. We can move to the next bill.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Thank you, Honorable Members. We're looking at the Customs and Excise Amendment Bill number 24 of 2024. Starting with the background, the bill seeks to amend the Customs and Excise Act Cap 322 of the laws of Zambia in order to enhance the fiscal policy and regulatory framework regarding customs and excise duty by optimizing government revenue while supporting domestic industries and ensuring competitive pricing for consumers. The bill, once enacted, will protect local markets and address specific economic and environmental concerns by updating the surtax list for imported goods. Additionally, the bill will regulate the gambling sector and generate additional revenue by introducing a 10% excise duty on betting. We proceed to the specific clauses of the bill. Clause 1 is the short title and commencement, which provides for the short title and commencement of the Act once enacted. Clause 2 provides for an amendment of Section 2, which revises the definition of the word tribunal and inserts a new definition of user account so as to make the law easier to understand by citizens and those tasked to implement the law. Clause 3 amends Section 32 so as to provide an exception for goods entered in bond carriage by rail to be entered for consumption or warehousing within a period of 15 days. Clause 4 amends Section 32B so as to remove the period of time for the acceptance of entry of any goods for customs purposes prior to the arrival of the goods at a customs port. Clause 4 amends Section 34 so as to reduce the period of time within which a person making an entry of any imported goods shall make a payment from the date of issue of an assessment notice where electronic registration on the customs computer systems exists from 5 days to 3 days. Clause 6 amends Section 47 so as to provide an exception under which the Commissioner General may have the discretion to dispense with the presentation of a bill of entry or other prescribed customs documents for a person intending to export goods valued at not more than the kwacha equivalent of 2,000 United States dollars. Clause 7 amends Section 62 so as to reduce the period of time within which goods not entered for export or consumption within 1 year of the date of first warehousing shall be forfeited, sold, or disposed by the Commissioner General from 15 days to 10 days. Clause 8 amends Section 86 so as to permit an importer who is dissatisfied with a decision of the Commissioner General to within 30 days of the decision appeal to the Tax Appeals Tribunal against that decision. Clause 9 amends Section 94 so as to allow a person who manufactures or produces electrical energy of up to 100 kilowatts for that person's domestic use to do so without a license and without payment of duty. Clause 10 amends Section 99 so as to give an applicant for a manufacturer's license or for renewal of a manufacturer's license who has been refused such license to have the right to appeal to the Tax Appeals Tribunal. Clause 11 amends Section 108 so as to reduce the period of time within which duty assessed by the Commissioner General shall be due and payable from 5 days to 3 days. Clause 12 amends Section 139A by revising the definitions of rendering a service and service provider so as to include betting services to the definitions. Further, the clause seeks to insert a new definition for the word betting so as to make the law easier to be understood by the citizens and those tasked to implement the law. Clause 13 amends Section 139D so as to require a service provider to maintain a record of, among others, airtime sold, bets, including free bets, received, and payments made, and excise duty paid or payable. In addition, the clause requires a service provider to submit a return of airtime consumed, lost, or otherwise disposed of, or of bets, including from bets made in the preceding month, and duly completed entry in the prescribed form accounting for airtime disposed of or bets, including free bets received and payouts made during that month, in a manner and form determined by the Commissioner General. In addition, this clause seeks to reduce the period of time within which an assessment by the Commissioner General shall be due and payable following an issue of notice of assessment from 5 days to 3 days. Clause 14 amends Section 139I under A and B so as to extend the requirement of lodging with the Commissioner General a true and complete return of all bets received to enhance oversight in betting operations to a betting service provider. Clause 15 amends Section 155 so as to introduce penalties for licensed manufacturers of excisable goods who are found guilty of an offense under the Act for which no specific offense is provided. Clause 16 amends Section 162 so as to enhance the notice and appeal procedures relating to seized goods. Clause 17 amends Section 171A so as to give the Commissioner General the discretion to commence an additional process of suspending a user account for a person or persons agent, who fails to pay a fine or duty or interest on any duty or fine. Clause 18 amends Section 184 so as to introduce a provision that gives the Commissioner General discretion to make rules relating to the conditions applicable to a person who is authorized to transact business on behalf of another person. Clause 19 amends the first schedule so as to, among others, introduce customs duty of 5% on oil cake, soya husks, and other solid residues. Clause 20 amends the second schedule so as to, among others, delete the figure 0.60 kwacha in the duty rate column and the substitution of the figure 1 kwacha in order to increase excise duty on imported alcoholic beverages and increasing the excise duty on tobacco from 400 kwacha to 452 kwacha. Clause 22 amends the 4th schedule.
Clause 21.
Clause 22 amends the 4th schedule in the surtax column by the deletion of the figure 5% and substitution of the figure 20% so as to increase the selected goods surtax, among others PVC pipes, tubes and hoses, from 5% to 20%.
That's what I was saying, he left clause 21.
I'm guided, Chair. That was 22. I had skipped 21. Allow me to just go back to 21. So clause 21 amends the 3rd schedule in the appropriate columns so as to increase the specific rate for customs and excise duty on used motor vehicles. We proceed to clause 23, which amends the 6th schedule so as to adjust the rate of excise duty for locally manufactured beverages. Clause 24 amends the 7th schedule so as to value a bet as exclusive of excise duty and being the amount wagered or staked. Additionally, the clause defines an amount wagered or staked to include the value of a free bet or value of a thing placed by a person for an outcome in a betting transaction. Finally, clause 25 amends the 8th schedule so as to include a new heading specifically for betting with a duty rate of 10%. I submit, Honorable Chair.
Thank you. Honorable members, any comments? Clear? Okay.
Thank you so much. I just want to get a clarification. On your background, you're saying that this bill, once enacted, will protect local markets and address specific economic and environmental concerns. That is the major background to this. But whilst you are trying to look at protecting the local market, did you also balance on the prices of food, especially if everything coming out of the country is blocked? You'll find that the prices of food goes very high. We used to buy potatoes at 60 kwacha. When the imports were stopped, the price of potatoes went to almost 180 kwacha. So now, when we are coming up with these laws, are we able to see how we can put up a balance so that the local market does not also exploit, the poor Zambians? So whilst we are making these laws, did you try to check how well balanced these are going to sit, especially with the prices?
Thank you. You can respond to that.
Thank you, Honorable. I would just wish to state that we've taken note of that concern and we'll revert. Hopefully the question will also be raised to the specific ministry when they do come through to address the committee. Thank you.
Honorable Smoshi.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. You wanted to say
If I may add, Honorable Chair, one of the principles of taxation that we look into when we're drafting these laws, even when ZRA and Ministry of Finance are coming up with these measures, is that these laws need to be equal, they need to be impartial. Those are the principles that we take into account. So we do look at all those things. We try to strike a balance of all these aspects as well, Honorable Member. I have noticed that this is the concern in all these bills. But we do look at all those issues and we try to strike a balance. So yes, we do, Honorable Member. We look at all these things. So these principles are the things that are a foundational basis for us to actually draft these laws the way we do. Thank you so much, Honorable Chair.
Through your chair. Protect local market. local market usually has very little production. That is a fact. Only at times we can have a lot of tomatoes and a lot of onions, but you find that we are only protecting one Biabamba who is doing potatoes. So the local market may just apply to one individual who is doing potatoes. So when we are talking like that, we should look around and see if at all it's really to benefit one person, or we are going to benefit more Zambians if the prices are lower. I submit, Chair.
Okay. Honorable Smashi, you had your hand?
Yeah. Thank you, Chair. I think the background reads some point, the second paragraph says the bill, once enacted, will protect local markets and address specific economic and environmental concerns. Now, I'm taking you to clause 21, which speaks to increasing the specific rate for customs and excise duty on used motor vehicles. Now, when you go to, you look at the duty charged on the electric cars in this country, it's very, very high. Meanwhile, we are trying to move to electric vehicles or hybrid vehicles which have less emissions. But now here I see a contradiction. On one hand, you want to enhance environmental sustainability, but on the other hand, again, you are discouraging the purchase of these vehicles, because if you go to the border, there are so many electrical cars that people bought which are stuck there because of the duty that is being asked for. It's in most cases higher than the price, the purchase price for those vehicles. So maybe, I know you may not be able to answer that question, maybe one of those that we should be able to ask the ZRI as to why we have that contrast.
Honorable Jamba, Honorable Nyananda, wait.
Thank you so much. Maybe I would also request, since you are going to be present with us, some of these things to be explained to us properly, to me, not to others, to me properly, because there are schedules which I don't understand properly. Let me look at this one, like from 5% at clause 22, increasing from 5% to 20%. Sometime I went to some farms in Mukushi, where some committee, I think these ones, they were complaining about the high cost of the pipes, those water pipes for the farms, the cost which you are doing that for irrigation. So a lot of people are trying to irrigate, but when you want to buy, they will say irrigation is zero tax, but when you look at the main pipes, they are very expensive. Then you raise them from 5 to 20%. So you from the judiciary, maybe I want to understand what type of pipes they are, what are they talking about, because when they come here, I want to ask them properly, to tell us exactly. People are saying go irrigation, meanwhile they want to, here in Zambia the local manufacturers cannot manufacture some type of whatever, so that we want to understand them ourselves. In fact, apart from the schedules, yeah. If you look at this page 6, these clauses which are there, fourth schedule and third schedule, maybe for us to understand properly what we are talking about, so that we don't just approve something. I think we need, maybe you can help us, what those things which are there, so that we can understand properly what they are talking about. Because we may just say we increase from 4 to whatever, but you find that on the local market, we are actually killing our own people. Thank you.
Are you able to comment on that one?
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I'll start by commenting on the first issue, which was a question on how the amendment that regards the increase of duty charged on used motor vehicles will be good for the environment. On that one, Honorable Member, one of the principles of taxation that we try to always consider when drafting these laws is to also reduce or rather increase on anti-dumping practices by these foreign countries. The import of used motor vehicles or second-hand motor vehicles, as we have known in this 21st century, is one that has contributed greatly to climate change, the environment at large, and the environmental degradation. So the move to increase excise duty on used motor vehicles is one that is going to speak to rather declining the import of used motor vehicles and perhaps also balance the same import. For the second question,
Yeah, go to the second question.
the second question, Honorable Chair, for that one, I'll take note of it and revert to the committee.
Thank you so much, Chair. Clause 20, the amendment of second.
Which ones are you saying you are going to get back?
Okay, Honorable Jumba, I've taken note of it. As the chair, I've taken note of that. We'll talk about it. So just hold on to it, yeah.
Thank you so much.
Chair.
Allow him to do a
You
follow-up.
want to?
Yes, Honorable Chair. Oh, your guide, Chair.
Should I?
Wait, you can go. No, you can go ahead.
I just wanted to add my colleagues' responses. We have taken note, Chair, of the committee's request that they be taken through the schedules so that they can fully understand what is being what the amendments are speaking to. We request that when the ministry, the responsible ministry comes to present, this is something that will that they'll be required to just to go through the schedules clause by clause so that the committee can be made to understand the specific adjustments that are being made to these schedules.
Thank you.
I submit, Chair.
Thank you. Honorable Janada.
Thank you so much. On clause 20 here, the clause amends the second schedule by, among others, deletion of the figure 0.6 in the duty rate column and the substitution of the figure to 1 kwacha in order to increase excise duty on imported beverages and increasing the excise duty on tobacco. I would want to find out this increase on imported alcoholic beverages, making it even more expensive, and yet the local alcohol is the one which is producing junkies. It is extremely affordable. 2 kwacha, a boy will go around, come back very drunk. Why? Anyway, I can't say why, because you are not the ones. Do you think it's the right thing to do, and yet we are complaining to say that the local manufacturers who are producing these alcoholic beverages are killing our youth? So if we just have to put the increase on the imported beverages and not deal with the locals, we may not be able to have a double-edged sword on the social challenges that we are facing as a country. And also increasing the excise duty on tobacco from 400 kwacha to 452. The issue of tobacco, I think, has been coming to our committees, even to our caucuses, most of the times, to say that we are too lenient on the taxes that we are charging. But I'm only seeing this petty 52 kwacha being increased. Do you think we are doing the correct things? Maybe you can advise the committee. I submit, Chair.
Thank you. You can respond to that?
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Thank you, Honorable Member. We have taken note of that concern that you've raised. One of the things that we look into when drafting any law is it implementable? So I've looked at the scenario you've given where you have local beers that are produced at home, for example. I'm looking at the situation of how would we be able to implement that. I do think it's something that we can consider going forward, saying how would you charge a tax, for example, on someone who brews a beer at home?
No, it's not.
No,
Honorable Nyinenda, through the chair, please. Yeah, you can continue.
Yes, thank you, Chair. So thank you, Honorable Member. No, but we've taken note of the concern. I know that they're not just producing these at home, but also one of the things we look into when drafting is how will the law be implemented. So I do think it's something that we can consider going forward, saying how can we implement this law, even if, or let's say if it was considered, how can we implement it? So we've taken note of that. Thank you, Honorable Member.
Honorable Simunji.
Thank you, Chair. It's a rider on what the Vice Chairperson has talked about. If I understood her very well, she's talking about the increase in the imported drinks, while we have left the local drinks static. So in short, she would have been happy if you, even on the local drinks, the price should have gone up or the tax should have gone up, so that we discourage people from taking a lot of alcohol. I'm sure that's the language it's going through.
Okay, thank you.
To the Chair. Thank you, Honorable Member. No, we've taken note of that. If that's the concern, then we've taken note of that. And when the line ministry does come forward, we will tell them saying, okay, this has been raised, saying how can we deal with the issue of local alcoholic beverages. Thank you.
Thank you. On the same clause 20, just for you to confirm, I think mostly with ZI, in order to increase excise duty on imported alcoholic beverages, is that not supposed to be imported non-alcoholic beverages, or is it as it is sitting? Maybe you may want to check on that one. Wait, one number, Smush.
Chair, we just request just for a few minutes. We can just
check
look
on
at
that one.
it,
Then
and
since you are we can advise the committee whether it's non-alcoholic or it's just alcoholic.
Yes, Chair. And also, Chair, just to add, the submissions that are being made by the committee are very, very important. We have taken note that the submission by the Honourable Member that there is need to increase the duty on local alcoholic beverages. That is not something that was considered in the bill, but then we will try to bring it to the attention of the line ministry. If it's something that they feel, looking at as we looked at the background, we looked at the need to minimize, reduce tax on the local market. So we'll see if this is something that they can consider. Looking at the submissions that have been made. And also there was an issue on the 50 quarter increment that has been made. If also that is sufficient, we take note that the submission by the committee is that by the Honourable Member is that it doesn't appear sufficient in terms of increasing tax. So we will bring it to their attention if it's something that the ministry would want to revise and revise upward. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Honorable Omamba. Oh, sorry. No, you can. We'll come to you. Sorry, Honorable Smush.
For me, Chair, maybe the drafters, I consistently keep on hearing they will liaise with the line minister. So at what stage are they going to do that? Because they are going to be our permanent witness here. So is it your committee or them who are going to bring these particular concerns to the respective line ministers?
Yeah. So we'll deal with that one as we end. Yes, I've taken note of that. Honorable Smushi.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I should have made a follow-up on the question that I had asked, but I just wanted to get some clarity. When these amendments are being made, there are two issues here. Sometimes government wants to increase, to find money to finance the budget, and I feel when it comes to the issues of increasing duty on used motor vehicles, that could be one of the intentions. Yes, suffice to mention that there are issues of environmental concerns which can also be addressed, but I feel that route of increasing duty is not the best. If you want to address environmental concerns, the best route to use is to put a limit in terms of which vehicles you can allow, which years, up to which years. But that is not, I don't think that is there in this country. Anyone can bring a vehicle even for maybe 1980. You bring it here for as long as it's moving. But in terms of pollution, you find that it will be, those are maybe high polluting vehicles. So that's why I was saying there are two issues which I raised. I raised one issue on the electric vehicles, which are directly respond to the issues of environmental pollution. But when you look at the duty for those vehicles, it's too high. So then we cannot solve that problem because people will not opt to buy the vehicles because they are high in terms of pricing. Secondly, if you want to reduce the pollution from old vehicles, it's not a question of increasing the duty on those. That will basically solve the problem. Because then if the people still opt to buy, maybe given the fact that maybe the increment is not so much, then it means you're not solving the problem again. That's why I thought maybe we needed to relook at that.
Thank you. That was more of a comment, isn't it? Yeah, but take note for that. Honorable Mukasa will be the last one. Do you want? It's okay. Okay. Unless if you wanted to comment on this, then let's move to the next.
Honorable Chair, my colleague would like to comment the question that was asked on whether it's the increase on excise duty is on alcoholic or non-alcoholic beverages.
Okay.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. We've perused through and just a correction, those are non-alcoholic.
It's non-alcoholic.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, well, we can move to the last bill. This is the Zambia Revenue Authority Bill number 26.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, honorable members. The Zambia Revenue Authority Amendment Bill number 26 of 2024. We'll move to the background. The bill seeks to amend the Zambia Revenue Authority Act, Chapter 321 of the laws of Zambia in order to provide for the immunity of members of staff of the Zambia Revenue Authority. The bill, once enacted, will extend the immunity granted under the Act to members of staff of the authority, thereby providing protection to the members of staff of the authority against lawsuits arising from acts or things done or omitted to be done in good faith. We move to the specific clauses of the bill. Clause 1 provides for the short title and commencement of the Act once enacted. Clause 2 provides for the amendment of Section 18. The clause seeks to amend the Principal Act by the repeal and replacement of Section 18 so as to provide for the immunity of a member of a committee, or a member of staff of the Zambia Revenue Authority for or in respect of an act or thing done or omitted to be done in good faith in the exercise or performance of the powers, functions or duties conferred on the members and staff. I submit.
Thank you.
Chair.
Honorable Murebwa, then Honorable. Okay, I note your hand, Honorable Member. Honorable Murebwa.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair, I have a problem with this bill. And my problems emanate from the fact that this is going to cause a lot of problems for citizens. Already, I have personally experienced problems where ZRA staff have confiscated goods from a citizen without any proper grounds. And I've got evidence to that effect. In fact, one of the times I had to call Mr. Sigande to come to my rescue.
You may not mention names at
Oh,
this
I'm
time.
sorry. Yeah, but I had to call someone very senior to intervene in the situation. So I foresee a situation where once immunity is given to ZRA staff, they're just going to abuse this power and do things that will injure our citizens, I submit.
Thank you, Honorable Mabumba.
Chair, for me, I just want to find out from the drafters. I think of recent in government, we have been passing legislation like this that provides protection to staff, and we are using very camouflage language in good faith. How can you make mistakes in good faith? So I think for me the bill is overprotective of the staff of the ZRA, and I don't know to what extent this particular bill can be relooked at. Otherwise we will be passing a bill that protects staff even when they know that what they are doing is not in good faith on behalf of the Zambian people. So I really don't support this particular bill. I know in government this has been the trend recent, where we are creating bills that protect officers. I submit, Chair.
Honorable Mkoza.
Thank you, Chair. Witness, I would like you to just help us understand how it can be established that something was done in good faith. Because obviously for you to come up with that phrase, there is something that you were thinking. Because obviously ZRA came that they need immunity. Then when you were drafting, you said, okay, let us use good faith, where you have said a member of a committee or a member of staff of the Zambia Revenue Authority for or in respect of an act or thing done or omitted to be done in good faith in the exercise or performance of the powers. ZRA can decide to write off huge amounts of taxes being owed by a mining company, millions, the money that belongs to the Zambian people. How can we establish that this was done in good faith? I just want you to help us answer, because these things can end up going to court, and the court will have to interpret. So you, when you are drafting, what were you thinking? We would just like you to enlighten us. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. You can make a comment on that one. Respond.
Thank you so much, Chair. Thank you, Honorable Member. So the use of the words in good faith, we are trying to put a cap on what these acts done or omitted to be done are, so that we do not have people saying that we are giving a carte blanche to ZRA to do whatever it is and they will have immunity. So these words in good faith, they are giving context as to what these acts are. And then as to what exactly good faith is when these practical examples happen, okay? Those are circumstances that the court looks into. Well, what is good faith? We have, I'm now speaking as a lawyer, we have these principles, we have these cases and precedents that talk about what exactly amounts to good faith. So the court will look at those issues, and then will look at the circumstances that are prevailing at that time and come to a decision. So this provision, it's there, it's a standard provision, but it is not giving immunity entirely. It is specifically for those acts that are done in good faith. I don't know how else I can say what good faith is, but that is what it does. It's just for us not to have this entire, like a whole immunity. It's just for those acts that are done or omitted to be done in good faith. And it's up to the courts now, when somebody complains and then they invoke this provision, it is up to the court to determine whether that act in that subject situation that is being looked at, whether that was good faith or it was not.
Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
I've noted your hands, honorable members.
I think what I would request our colleagues from the Ministry of Justice is to help us and look at the reasons why we are doing this work that we are doing here. I think our concern is not only for the Ministry of, for the ZRI staff, but also for the general public out there, like the concern that Honorable Muleba brought up. So I think my question is, you see, when you are saying in good faith, it must be defined, but it's very difficult to measure good faith. It's very difficult to measure good faith. So I think I would have loved you to give us maybe examples of why is it that the ministry, the ZRI, are requesting for protection. What has led to this? Maybe those are the kind of details that you should maybe also avail us, so that we understand exactly what we are trying to do here. Otherwise, we may be ending up enacting laws which at the end of the day, again, we regret we did them. So I think, please, try to look at these issues in totality.
Yeah, so it's more to do with issues, or maybe the examples, isn't it, Honorable Simosh? Like, so that members. Okay. Do you want to comment on that one?
Yes, just a quick comment. Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Honorable Member. We do not have the details of those examples. I think ZRA would be the best to state what exactly they are facing in practice.
Yeah.
What we know is that they have been sued. They're being sued even for acts that are done in good faith. So good faith is your ordinary dictionary meaning in your Oxford dictionary. Well, what good faith is can't be defined, because it will depend on the circumstances that are prevailing at the time. So when we have officers in these institutions that are being sued, it kind of impedes how they are going to perform their functions that are given in the Act.
Okay.
So it's also a matter of striking a balance between protecting this officer on this side and protecting this citizen on this other side. So that's why the courts come in, to come and give us a solution. Is this thing done in good faith, depending on the circumstances of that particular case? That's why we do not have a definition, because you can't have a generic definition for something that can differ in another situation. I submit, Chair.
Thank you. So we'll do like this. We'll take one from Honorable Nyirenda, then Honorable Mabumba, Honorable Muleba, and then Honorable Jamba. We end with Honorable Jamba. Briefly, one of the members here.
Thank you so much. I'll be very brief, Chair. Thank you so much, our permanent witness. There's a problem. We are usually blamed for passing laws or recommending laws which are ambiguous, those which cannot state exactly what is supposed to be done. Hence interpretation. No, we go to Concord, we go to what? Why don't we just go straight to what is supposed to be done than for us being ambiguous? This is very ambiguous. It does not state whether it's in good faith or it's in bad faith. Why should we come up with a law which will not tell exactly what is supposed to be done?
Thank you. Honorable Mabumba, take note of those then.
Chair, participating in drafting or establishing laws that are protectionist of ourselves, Chair, I think that is not a very good practice. Because if I listen from the drafter, she has even referred to the courts. If I am sued, I am working for ZRA and I am sued, I'll go to the court and demonstrate that I made that particular decision in good faith. So if the courts are there as arbiters, why should we create a law that protects the officers, who at the end of the day can go in court and seek, which word, colleagues? And seek redress from the courts to say, no, I made this particular decision in good faith. And then the courts themselves would be able to establish whether, according to the benchmarks, whether that particular decision was made in good faith. I think, Chair, personally, I'll have difficulties in supporting this particular legislation. I have worked in government, and I don't think we should go through that. Those who have the opportunity to work for the government, let them go and answer in the courts of law as to why they made those particular decisions, and it will be up to the court to either acquit them or find them guilty than us, Chair, creating laws that protect the officers. I think we'll be opening a Pandora box for a very important institution that is supposed to collect money on behalf of the Zambian people. I submit, Chair.
Thank you. Honorable Mrewa.
Honorable Chair, just an addition to
Sorry.
what my other honorable members have said. I don't see anybody working professionally according to the dictates of their profession, finding themselves in trouble because they did something in good faith. Well, I'm a lawyer too, but the way I would define good faith, for example, last night I was driving back to my mansion, and I saw a lady who was walking looking like tired. In good faith, I stopped to give her a lift. If something happened while I was taking her or anything like that, that could be justified as I thought I was helping a citizen. What ZRA does is, when they are not, I don't know what comes over them, they'll confiscate goods for somebody, like I said earlier on, without any proper grounds. So if someone is working professionally, I don't see any reason why I should seek immunity. That's my submission, Honorable Chair.
Thank you. Honorable Jumba.
Yes, Chair. Maybe I'm at sea because in the judiciary, we always rely on your advice. When you say you don't know, maybe those people come. Wanted to get your advice. From my point of view, this act here, this thing which you need to change here, leaves much to be desired. Because when they present it to you, maybe you have asked them. So we wanted some just advice from you. What you think really this thing is actually worthy, even to be brought to before the committee? I thought you were going to advise us as members of Parliament. We, the drafters, when we looked at this thing, that's what we want to know. Because when they come here, we must have substance. We cannot also start saying, can you explain to us? If you can give us the guidance, then we can know. Me, I just want to know, what does it mean? This discussion we are putting.
Thank you, Chair. So like I had indicated earlier, this is not a new provision for us as drafters. This provision is in almost every legislation. This is a standard provision that we put in these acts. So it is not something that is new. That's one. Two, this is just something that is given to protect this officer, and this officer is also a Zambian citizen who also has this right to go to a court of law to actually prove that, oh, this act was done in good faith. And then on this other side you have this citizen who is complaining, saying, no, but your act was not done in good faith. And this is why we said that the courts will come in now to give what exactly happened, and depending on the circumstances that are prevailing. So this is not a new provision. If you go through most of 90%, say 99% of our acts actually has this provision. So it is not something that is new. So when ZRA came to us and Ministry of Finance to say that, no, we're seeking for immunity for our members of staff, this is the provision that came into mind. And the current law as it stands in the ZRA Act, it provides immunity for members of the board and members of the committees of the board. So this amendment extends Section 18, which is in the current Act, to also provide immunity for members of staff that are acting in good faith. So if I'm acting professionally, like the honorable member indicated, and I make an honest mistake, and out of that honest mistake, a lawsuit ensues, it means that this is what I'm going to invoke to defend myself as an officer of ZRA. So we do understand that, yes, there are circumstances that happen in practice where ZRA makes mistakes. So those are different circumstances. This immunity, like I indicated, it is not open. It has a cap. It has to be those things that have not been done professionally, and you have proof that the way the honorable member indicated, he has proof that this officer has acted in bad faith, and this is the evidence The courts of law are going to decide, and this provision is not going to protect that officer. My submission, Chair.
Thank you. Honourable members, you wanted to comment?
Yes, Chair, just to add what my colleague has already stated. This is a provision that is currently in our law. The only difference that has happened is that it currently applies to committees, and the law only seeks to extend it to other staff of the institution. And also, honourable members, as also alluded to by my submitted by my colleague, this is sitting in our statute book. So we are just trying to align to what is currently on the statute book. Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry to take you back to the Customs and Excise Amendment Bill. If you can pick that one, you have it, eh? Clause number 23. Okay. The amendment on the 6th schedule. You have seen that one, eh? That's Customs and Excise Amendment Bill number 24. Clause number 23.
Yes, Honourable Chair.
You have seen that one, eh?
Yes, Honourable
If you go in the, what do you call this one? The draft bill itself, it has no 6th schedule, but yeah, it's indicated, so you need just to check and reconcile that.
We're checking,
We're checking,
Honourable
yeah,
Chair.
sure. We can't see it in terms of, because from the 4th schedule, then we have the last is the 8th schedule, isn't it? So we don't have the 6th schedule. Unless if we have missed it somewhere.
Chair, just to respond to the question. So the amendment is the schedule is not appearing in the bill.
In the bill, okay.
What the amendment is in the schedule is just the text of the schedule.
Okay.
That's what's been amended.
Okay.
So we're not going to see the
Okay.
the title of 6th schedule, but it's the content of the schedule that's being amended.
Okay. Take a note of that. Okay, honourable members, we have to end here for now, because as I said earlier on when we started, the Minister of Justice is our permanent witness as we are looking at all this. So they will advise who will be with us throughout this process going forward. Okay, in terms of the provisions of the laws of Zambia, that which was provided to you earlier on, I know it's a continuous process for now. When then we'll be with you as we continue. Thank you very much for coming and have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you.